Welcome everybody. It's the Eyecare Experts. We've got, this year is flying by, my goodness. We're almost to the 4th of July, and we know what that means. A lot of fireworks being shot off, and usually we have some patients in the next couple of days afterwards that come in with various injuries, eyes, all that stuff. So today's talking about fireworks and just eye safety in general, things we can do to help protect us, things to watch out for, things that will help, so you don't have to come in and see us. Maybe you don't have to go to urgent care, emergency room, anything we can do to protect those eyes. So what do y'all want to, any advice, any past injuries?
Off the top, if you go to Lowe's or Home Depot or any of those places, they have the relatively inexpensive safety glasses, and they're just as good for safety purposes. There's better ones that cover and all that, but just getting something in front of you is better than nothing. So the cost shouldn't be a factor in you not using safety eyewear when you're messing around with the kids and doing this or any other circumstance that comes up.
And then one to add, after the fireworks have been shot, which a lot of people, I wouldn't say a lot of people, few forget to remember that the ignition sometimes is still going on with the little spark or the little wire on the firework. So when it's shot off, a lot of people go and check it. A lot of times they'll douse it with water, maybe pour a little bit of sand over it, but usually it's not going straight to that piece of firework. Let it time out, diffuse, and then you can address that maybe the next day.
So the two things there is just, if you're going to be close proximity, you need some eye protection. I mean, whether it's a sparkler, whether it's the big daddy where you're firing all the fireworks, you need something because you never know when things can tip over, things can backfire, and sometimes if it doesn't go off and then you come to check on it and then it gets in the eye, there's bad things that can happen. So eyewear if you're going to be close, and then if you're going to be far away watching it, make sure you're far enough away where certainly even the ashes, even some of that discharge that comes after the burning won't get directly in the eye and cause any irritation.
And it should go without saying, without shooting fireworks directly at a person, away from your own face and away from other people's faces and bodies, and be careful.
Well, I think to that point, we all, when you least expect it, when you're saying, hey, it's not going to happen to me, that's when it can happen. So we see it all the time. We have patients come in, various injuries. So just be careful. It's better to be safe.
Absolutely.
So what do we do if something happens? All right. First off, certainly any of our offices, we're trying to prevent it, but of course if anything happens, any eye pain, any redness, certainly we're going to get you in. Call our offices. Go to TerrezzaOptical.com. We have various locations, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But even if we're booked out with full exams, we try to get any office visits in as soon as we can, especially if it's hurting you, you're in pain. If it's serious, we want to get you in. Advice, I guess, if something happens, what would be your advice if someone says, hey, I got something in my eye from the fireworks, what to do?
Well, most of the time with other things, people say, well, I'll wait a few days and this will go away. 90% of the time with eye problems, it grows from a campfire into the tent's on fire into the car's on fire. And you need to get to it as soon as possible and avoid those more critical situations. So I would say speed is the first element.
I definitely agree with that. Similar to a burn or getting chemicals splashed into the eye, especially if you're getting debris or the amber into your eye, you want to just lavage that eye a solid 10-15 minutes with sterile water if you can, but if you only have tap water accessible, then that's fine too. Then reach out and try to find a eye care professional, preferably an optometrist or an ophthalmologist. If not, urgent care would be a fair bet.
So try to flush it, saline, that sort of thing, and if it's not getting any better and if it's still red, it's still hurting, give us a call. Because the quicker we find it, the quicker we see it, we can get you feeling better, but also the better chance of not having scarring or something serious stick around for a while. Any specific cases y'all can recall or anything in the past?
Well, I had a 5-year-old and the dad let him light the fireworks, and he went and lit what's commonly known as an ash can. It's a gray firework about an inch long, and they put it in a tube, and they put it in there, and they waited a while. It didn't go off, and so the little boy, before the father could see him and stop him, went up and looked into the tube with his eye, and of course, that's when it went off. And that was a serious case, and I had to refer that into the surgical unit at Sacred Heart. So that was kind of sad, and that ruined their July 4th weekend.
That does not seem like fun. Part of the reason I brought up my first point about not pointing it in someone else's face is that I had a case similar to that, just shooting bottle rockets, and I believe there were Roman candles at each other. Basically burnt the next to the eyelids pretty severely, and then the trauma, the blunt hit to the eye also caused some swelling inside the eye all the way back to the retina. The person came out fine ultimately, but it was a long road to recover.
So things, I guess, if you're going to a show, I know a lot of people will go to a fireworks show. I sometimes will tell parents to maybe, especially for the really young kids, maybe take, if they're, wear protection, of course, but it might not be a bad idea to have saline or some artificial teardrops with you to kind of maybe flush the eye out on scene if that happens. And if you don't have it there, maybe shortly thereafter, as y'all mentioned, speed is a big deal as far as taking care of that. I'm just trying to think, but even just smoke in general. I mean, I think for contact lens wearers like myself, even just going into a restaurant or potentially a bar where there's a lot of smoke, just on normal smoke, it aggravates and irritates the eye. So you can imagine certainly what a lot of smoke from fireworks could do to the eye. Yeah. So just be aware. It doesn't have to always be serious. It could be mild irritation, but sometimes it is serious. And we want to see you guys. So, go to TerrezzaOptical.com. Give us a call. We've got 5 locations now in Pensacola, 2 in Alabama, and we just opened in Navarre.
Yeah.
You want to go through some of the locations and kind of tell the
Sure.
Yeah.
The number's
Yeah.
8, though.
The number's 8. Number's 8.
Correct.
Well, go through the locations and we'll kind of talk about it. But yeah,
The latest one is in Navarre on Highway 98 at Village.
Harvest Village, 7515 Harvest Village Court in Navarre.
Well, there
That's
you
that
go.
address. Yes.
And that's our latest one. And then we're at the Baptist Hospital location in the Henderson building, right 90 degrees from the emergency room. And we're on the first floor next to Starbucks. Our third location is downtown opposite the Sanger Theater at 113 Palafox Place. And there's the largest parking lot in downtown is behind my office, and you can park there free, courtesy of our office. We have an office in Milton on Stewart Street, opposite the new Grovers. We have one in
Fairfield, the corner of Fairfield and Lillian Highway, right there kind of in, I guess, southwest Pensacola. We're there, and then also on 9 Mile, it's growing up there, certainly at the corner of Beulah and 9 Mile Road, at Beulah Crossing, the new Publix. I say new, but it's been there, a few years now. It's amazing. We've actually been open there almost 4 years, 3.5, 4 years at the 9 Mile. It's crazy how time flies. But those are in Pensacola, and then we have an office in Foley.
Yeah, on Mackenzie Street, right opposite the big crossover by Foley Park. And we're in Fairhope, Alabama, on Flight Creek Drive, right off of 98 in the Public Shopping Center.
And we take I always say 98, 99% of most insurances out there, whether it's a vision insurance or medical insurance, we take pretty much all of that. So a lot of times patients will say, hey, I don't have a vision insurance, I didn't come see you guys. But if you have a medical diagnosis, we can see you and we can bill your medical insurance for that. So certainly we do all the glasses, we do the contacts, we do specialty contacts, but we do all the medical stuff too, whether it's diabetic retinopathy, glaucoma, high-risk medications, macular degeneration, we do all that. Did I miss anything?
Firework injuries.
Yep, firework injuries, office visits, red eyes, we work all that in there. And some of these, some of these are the most interesting cases. As far as we want to help the patients because certainly at the time of need, when your eye's hurting and there's a lot of nerve endings on that cornea, it's painful. And we want to get you feeling better and get that taken care of.
And to many surprises, often they'll come in for a routine exam just to find out there's some unknown incidental finding that we find either on the eye, inside the eye, that should have been taken care of maybe a year ago, maybe 5 years ago. But always important to at least get a routine. But if you're definitely having some symptoms, especially after fireworks show, come and see us.
And there's a lot of things we do embryonic membranes if we have to, whether it's just a topical antibiotic, maybe it's an oral antibiotic. We certainly have all that at our disposal. And if it gets more serious cases, if we need to refer you to a specialist, corneal specialist or anything like that, we've been in this area quite a while, and we know all the specialists, not only in Pensacola, but I'd say almost from Panama City to probably Mobile. We know all
Fair
further,
statement. Yep.
Well, anything else you guys can think on fire and eye safety in general? We talk about fireworks, but I know I was talking to my neighbor the other day as far as just simple things like just weed eating the yard. You don't think a rock or sand's going to come up in there. I've had patients that were at the beach and then got caught in a riptide where the sand kind of got in the eye. So there's a lot of things that can happen to the eyes, and sometimes it can happen when you least expect it.
Here's an interesting statistic. 92% of all serious eye injuries could have been prevented by wearing safety glasses. So that's a very high number. Only 8% were unavoidable and were such that they couldn't be fixed. But 92% could.
What happens if they say, hey, I've got my regular glasses? Will the safety glasses fit over the glasses? Can they get the safety glasses in a prescription? What would you say to a patient that says
All of the above.
All the above? Okay.
Well, you can do any combination you want to do.
There are certain lenses like polycarbonate and certain other lenses, safety lenses, that meet certain requirements that a lot of regular ophthalmic lenses do not have that capability. Some do, but it would be really good to check with your eye care provider on that.
This is putting you on the spot, but what happens if someone says, hey, I'm wearing my contact lenses? Would you say, hey, that's good enough, or would you say, hey, what would you say?
I would definitely add some safety glasses on that, only because, maybe not only because, but in addition to the smoke, anything that get in the eyes, in addition to wearing contacts, can cause even more serious problems with that contact on the eye versus having an eye that can be quickly lavaged or washed away without a contact on. Definitely on top of contacts, safety glasses. I would say with and without contacts, safety glasses, very important.
Well, our goal is not to see you, although it's not that we don't want to see you, but our goal is we don't want to see you for that, certainly. But we will, if something happens, give us a call. We'll be happy to take care of any eye-related needs you have. Keep the questions coming. We appreciate you guys watching our podcast, and a lot of this is from you as far as questions you've asked, just ideas, thoughts, conversations, and we enjoy doing it. We appreciate Andrew Sahawneh joining us again.
Thank you.
Going through that. Thanks for having us.
I appreciate it.
And we'll stay tuned for our next podcast and let us know if there's any questions that y'all have. But thank y'all for watching. Thank you.
Thank you.